Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. So, today I'm here with Sarah from Dark Path Healing. If you are new to Sarah, she is an extremely talented shadow work coach, and her information can be found in the video's description. In YouTube, I think it's below, and everywhere else is up top. So, just look for it, it's in there. But be sure to go over there, like and follow her page. But today we just wanted to kind of dive deep into what the eclipse season has to offer us and kind of see what all the energy is coming up. As if March wasn't crazy already. So we do already have 8 energetic portals opening throughout March. We have already been through 4 of those portals, and we have 4 more coming up. So I can touch more on those at the end of this video, but just kind of give you guys a heads up. We are going to look at the eclipses, and then we will touch into those portals and seeing what, I'll give you some tips of what to look out for with those. But welcome, everyone. We are just going to roll into it just for time purposes. Let me just put the comments up over here. Hey, everybody. And we are over here working. Perfect. So what is an eclipse? So an eclipse occurs when one celestial body or planet, like the sun, the earth, things like that, moves into the shadow of another celestial body. And there's 2 types of eclipses that we observe from Earth, and that would be the solar eclipse and a lunar eclipse. And during, oh my God, I can't even speak today. And that's part of this energy.
Absolutely.
During a solar eclipse, the moon passes between the Earth and the sun, blocking out the sun's light. And during a lunar eclipse, the Earth passes between the sun and the moon, causing the Earth's shadow to fall on the moon. So what does this mean for you, your emotions, and your energies? I will let Sarah give you the full rundown on what to expect from this very intense time. Here we go again with the words. Go ahead, Sarah. You can take it from here.
I'm going to try because I've had the same kind of day. And eclipse season definitely gives this type of...
And now my watch is going off. I don't know if you guys heard that, but sorry, go ahead.
This is eclipse season energy for sure. And Mercury is also about to go into retrograde. It's also Aries season. So shout out to all my Aries out there. And Aries is a big communicator. They're an over communicator. So it's not too far-fetched to me that like our communication even during this live is a little off. Like that is the nature of this beast. During eclipse season, you really want to focus on yourself. You want to go more inward. You don't really want to manifest. The energy externally is chaotic. It's getting mixed up. Like we get all of our energy from the sun. When you have a planet or a moon move in between those two, that energy is disrupted. For some, it's going to be exalted. For some, it's going to be depleted. It depends on where you specifically fall in, like what's going on in your life, what your birth chart like says, and where you have these placements. For me, I'm an Aries stellium. So I like this season. I like chaos. I feel very at home here. Hence me being drawn to probably shadow work and more of those types of things. My energy is a natural healer. So during this time, pay attention to repeated lessons, pay attention to common themes. If you're noticing it, you're supposed to sit with it longer, pay attention to your triggers. What is a trigger? Like a trigger is more than just a reaction to something. And now that like we have so many people waking up, right? Spiritual conversation is taking over. Like you hear triggers, you're paying attention to moon cycles, you're into astrology, and like, oh, Mercury's in retrograde, when before that would never come out of your mouth.
And I love it, by the way. I absolutely love it.
Same. Same. I finally feel like less of an odd man out. I'm like, yeah, I know all about this. Like, you want to talk about it? Sure.
You were like, oh, can you tell me more about that? I'm like, come sit down. Come into my office.
I love it. As we pay attention to our triggers, and our trigger identifies trauma when your body also has that physical reaction. Even even with some people, your body is the only thing that has a reaction. Like logically and in your mind, you stay calm and you know, like you're confident and you're within yourself. Nikki, am I striking a chord?
Yeah.
And then your body is still having this physical response to something that's come up. Recognize your triggers, sit with them. And even if it's something that you've dealt with before, you're being told like, hey, we got to go back. We got to sit in here.
Mm-hmm.
The whole purpose of this, because a lot of people, some people say that you don't have to do shadow work to walk a spiritual path. You're right. You don't have to. But here's how I see it. In order for a tree to go tall, its roots have to grow deep. And in order for us to like get to the levels we want to be, reach that calm state, reach that enlightenment, hit that higher self point that we want to reflect here on this plane, we have to do the inner work. Our roots have to go deep. And picking up these little Easter eggs of our subconscious, which are our triggers, which are these little observations, these little synchronicities that the universe kicks in our direction, spins towards us, like piques our interest just a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. That is our higher self communicating with ourselves. That is things that we've placed in this lifetime to help us further this journey.
Mm-hmm.
Pay attention to those, sit with those. Now is not the time to figure everything out. Just start gathering that data, bringing it close to you and paying attention. You'd be surprised how much you can shift your thinking, your mindset when you start to observe yourself, right?
And I love how you say that, because yes, you can be a tree. I mean, you don't have to go digging for that water and dig your deep root, dig those roots down deep. And you don't have to grow these, big, beautiful branches and these beautiful flowers and be fruitful. You don't have to do that. You can just be a tree. You can be comfortable being a tree. That's perfectly okay. If that's what you are comfortable doing, that is absolutely okay. But if you want to go in a little bit deeper, if you want to flourish, if you want to get something out of it and become this, big, deeply rooted, amazing tree that animals can live in, and, you have all these purposes and this fulfillment and this just beauty about you, it does require digging a little bit deeper, going into those dark aspects of yourself that you don't really want to look at, that you've been suppressing, that you've been pushing down, that we don't want to look at sometimes. But it's more beneficial to take a look at them than to run from them. Look at them right in the mirror, head on, straight on, instead of kind of suppressing them, running away. It only makes you a stronger person when you can overcome those boundaries and those obstacles. Is not more boundaries, but those obstacles.
Yeah.
So I love how you say that.
Thank you. And it's so true. Like overcoming an obstacle for ourselves, we can choose to live within the boundaries of those obstacles, right? Like that is our right as human beings. We have that free will. But we all know that feeling where we start to get uncomfortable in our comfort, where we start to like really settle in and have a routine, and all of a sudden something isn't right. Something isn't right. I don't like this. I need more. I need this. Or like we just start getting agitated. Nothing's wrong. That is growth. That is your body telling you like, hey, we gotta work on ourselves. The environment is correct. Like you've created this perfect environment for growth. And now what you're doing is growing, but you're not growing in the conventional sense. You're growing inward. You're being more self-aware and in tune with yourself during this time specifically. And I think I brought up synchronicities on my little rant a second ago. They've been coming up a lot for me. I'm not sure about you, but synchronicities are obnoxious right now. Like I kind of want to look at everything and be like, enough, but no, I love it.
Yeah.
Synchronicities mean a little bit of everything, right? Like they really can be person specific, or you have like angel numbers, the 444, the 1 ones, the things you can like look up.
The numbers are they're in your face, just everywhere. Everywhere this time.
I can't get away from it, that's for sure. The interesting part, and like you and I did this, we actually saw the same numbers, and when we looked them up,
the different meanings.
They were very different, but both applicable to each person. It was so strange. So really trust whatever's being put in your path. Like, part of this journey is blind faith.
Yes.
In yourself, which is the hardest thing. I swear, I can put faith in something else so much easier. Like shooting a free throw. I might not make it a first couple times, but eventually I'll get there. Putting it in myself is so hard. It's uncomfortable. It makes me question everything. It makes me question things I know to be true. Like it's so unnerving, especially in times like this, eclipse season, Mercury in retrograde, shadow work, where you are designed to question everything.
Well, I think it's hard because especially when people are coming out of like survival mode where you have to control your environment, you're so used to being in control. Because if you don't have a physical grasp on things, stuff's going to hit the fan. And when you're working through that, when you're working to get out of survival mode, and then when you are in that comfort survival mode, and then you become aware of things and you are taking that next level step up and you become aware, and then is that where that trust comes in. You're like, you're so terrified to let go of that control because you've learned from your patterns. If I don't have all that control and handle on things, I don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
And it's that fear that kind of comes in. But once you let go of that fear a little bit, it will up level you to that awareness and honestly, a lot of blessings and things that will come in. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but it was just
I love an open dialogue, so please don't feel like you're ever cutting me off. But isn't that interesting how we immediately process like something that's happening now and we relate it to something that happened before, and that fear will prevent us from moving forward. However, we kind of do know that it's not going to happen again. We kind of do know that that situation that happened is not what's happening right here. The players all look different. We look different. We lived through that once before. So like, you already know how to navigate that type of situation. I'm sure everyone that's experienced that could speak up for themselves enough to be like, no, I'm not interested in this. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
But it is interesting, and it's always interesting, and the mind works the same way every time. When you experience trauma like that, your brain will tell you, no, remember, we did this once before and we don't want to do it again.
Yep. It's that ego trying to keep you safe. Yep.
Trying to keep us safe for sure. But I think we need to switch. And again, it's all about mindset. I said this earlier in a reading. I got a download this week during my own meditation because I'm a worrier. I'm an over communicator, and I like to think and pick apart everything. And I kind of got called out in a meditation, and I said back, I'm like, I'm not worried. I'm wondering. And I loved it so much. And I could really feel like my mind shift. As humans, like, we have to think about everything, right? Like, if you're not, and moms, women, like if you're running anything, a business, a household, whatever, you have to worry to an extent. You have to plan, and in order to plan, you have to worry. But worrying is a negative vibration. It's a lower vibration. So I just decided I'm not worried. I'm just wondering. But that little phrase has really shifted the way I look at everything this week. And this week has been stressful. But just saying out loud to yourself, I wonder how I'm going to handle that, or I wonder how that's going to be handled. It really has been a little bit of a game changer. Pay attention within your own life what those little cues are, those little shifts that you can make to start making yourself more comfortable with the uncomfortable things.
See, and I love that you're aware enough to pick that out and then change that mindset and change those words, and because that does create our reality, and that does raise our vibration. It shifts our vibrational mode. So I love that you were aware enough to do that and then implement that. I love that. Because I'm like, with me, I don't ever play the what ifs. I will have like a plan and a backup plan, and I'm like, I'm set. I don't do I'm like, I'm not a worrier. I'm like, here's my plan. Here's the backup plan. Here's a backup plan, and everything will come out in the wash. It'll be okay. It'll be all right. One way or another, I have everything set, and I don't play the what if games. Like, I've learned the what if games will just stress you out to the max, and it will just drain and deplete your energy. So I'm just like, I've got my plans and I'm ready to go. So, but I love how you were able to acknowledge that and change that. Like, I'm just wondering, just doing that is just, I love that. I love how you change that into a more positive, more energetically flowing energy instead of a uh-oh, it feels really good. I like that.
Thank you. Well, we have to, right? We have to find ways to get our brain or our energy to work with us.
Yes.
We have to remember that, like, the world we were born into, like this educational system, like the stuff that we were indoctrinated in, that was not what we were designed to know. That's not how we were designed to think. It's not how we were designed to operate. Last year, I brought up that I was studying like human design, and just learning, I'm a projector, learning that type of energy, learning how I'm supposed to fill my cup, how I'm supposed to use my energy, how I'm supposed to address people is a game changer.
Yeah.
It's a game changer. As a person who would physically go up and tell someone like, hey, I could do that better. Like, not in a bad way, but like, there's a better way to do this, or like, hey, I can help you, or let me get in here, let me fix that. And that is my energy. And not everybody wants me to interject into their, no. That's literally in my human design chart, that I'm only supposed to act by invitation only. Okay, so I just sit here and I hold everything that I'm thinking to myself, and I'm supposed to do that. It's very hard. That was the talent that I had to learn, or a skill that I had to learn. But again, it's about, I had done everything. 20 years, I just bulldozed my way through life as I'm an intense personality. Oh, she's an Aries. Oh, that fits her personality to a T. No, I was miserable. Like, I was anxious. I would get upset when people didn't like my help, or didn't want my help, or didn't thank me for my help. It was all messy, and it was self-inflicted. So I think at a point in time, like, we really do have to become our own advocates and figure out what is working for us and what isn't. And what we don't talk about enough is there's a point in our life where we all become responsible for our own healing. Whether we inflicted it or not, we're responsible for it. We can't just walk around and be messy. And through that acknowledgement, through that realization, and in finding these little Easter eggs, these little triggers that lead to trauma, that led to more information about myself, that I could just let this belief go. Like, I realized, like, this part of my anxiety really doesn't fit here anymore. I'm just not going to do it. Because the reason I was thinking that I had to do it, I realized isn't true anymore.
And isn't it crazy that you can just change it like that? That once you become aware of it, once you can see both sides of the energy, you can just change it and manipulate that energy however it serves you. And it's so crazy how it really is that easy. When you take responsibility for it, you can just instantly change it. It's crazy.
The alchemy is real, friend. The alchemy is real. It is like removing a plant out of the ground. I'll stick to this plant analogy. Like, you dig deep enough, you find the bottom of that root, and you just go, and then you do whatever you want with it. You can replant it. You can give it to somebody else. You can throw it away. I think about shadow work in such a fun way, because it's fun to me now. I know that there is a lot of like negative stigma when we talk about like going into yourself and like pulling out your trauma. And of course, like, nobody likes to do this. But during these times and during these seasons, I really like to remove that stigma. This is a good thing. What other part in your life or in your year does the universe come together and say, okay, so-and-so, we're going to get into the ugly stuff and I'm going to help you pull this out and get rid of these things that you no longer want? When does that really happen, except for these specific times? Why would we go about them in a scared fashion, or a, I don't want to do this, or, oh no, I have to do my shadow work? The sunset.
It's almost like spring cleaning, to be honest. It's like bringing all the BS to the surface, and we're going to look at it, and we're just removing the things that aren't serving us anymore. We're just going to clean up that energy. We're going to take care of it. We're really going to look at it and say, is this serving me anymore? No. Then why are we holding on to it? If it's no longer serving us, we're going to donate it or get rid of it. We're chucking it to the roadside. We're done with it. Yeah. And we're just, taking that spring cleaning to the next level energetically. And that's pretty much what this shadow work is during this time. I think it's beautiful. I do think a lot of people just hear the word shadow work and they're like, wow, they get so scared about it. But it really is so transformational when you look at it, because you're healing deep wounds. You're healing those aspects of you that once you heal that on an energetic level, there's so much room for love, for growth, for just so much passion and abundance to come into your life, and new opportunities, more doors to open up for you when you heal those really, really deep wounds. So to do shadow work is honestly one of the greatest things that I've done in my life personally, because it has opened doors that I was just like, oh my gosh, this feels amazing to energetically release and cut these cords and just move on from certain things. So really taking that time to do that spring cleaning especially during these portal openings and intense energetic times. Like if you haven't never done shadow work, I would definitely recommend doing it now, especially with the eclipses, and perfect timing for it.
Yeah, I agree. And just to start, if you're brand new to shadow work, I want you to think of it this way. All you're doing is observing yourself during this time. Pay attention to what really triggers you. Pay attention to when your body, when your neck gets tight, when your shoulders and that center of your back just really starts to respond. You might be okay, but your body is having a physical reaction. Try to catch that before your mind catches up. Take the time just to observe these little things, and when you see them, the universe will help you find out why. I promise you, it works like that every single time, every time. But you're right with right now, and you know more about portals than I do. Or right now, you know more about portals. Hopefully, by the time you're done talking, I'll know a bunch too. But using timelines, using the universe, using astrology to work with you in your practice and your spirituality is beyond beneficial. It feels so natural. Everything works easy. You're not having any energy work against you or go against your flow. Moving with these cycles is really imperative.
I definitely agree with that. Also, if you don't want to work with somebody, this is all about you and your healing. So you can absolutely do your own shadow work just by listening to any synchronicities that are coming up. This is exactly what she's talking about, those signs, any guidance that's coming through, either through songs. If you keep hearing the same song, listen to the lyrics of the songs, because I guarantee that's a sign coming through, from your guides trying to give you some kind of information through the lyrics of the song. Or if you keep seeing the same picture of something, look at the picture and analyze that picture. Just looking at what your guides are, she's talking about those Easter eggs, those things that keep coming up repetitively. Those are the signs that you want to look into, because it's opening something. It's trying to draw your attention to what you need healing at this time, especially at this time. It is definitely about that healing, that trauma, those deep things, because there is a portal coming up of something that you cannot escape. And I'm just going to say that now. So if you don't address it now, there is a portal coming up and you will not be able to escape it. And if you take the time to look at it now and open up and feel it and take that time to self-analyze and take control of it, it will be easier when that portal opens. That way it's not smacking you in the face and just crumbling your world. But I mean, you do your own healing. That's on you. You have to take responsibility for yourself. So
That was a huge warning. That was huge. I'm a little intimidated. I'm like, oh no.
So, but so for you, what else do you have? What other information do you have?
Oh, one big thing with shadow work when you begin. Oof, this is a big one. When you start to notice things about yourself that you don't like, and you're going to, don't stop, don't quit. It's designed to be uncomfortable, because uncomfortable is where we grow. If we looked at ourselves or reflected on ourselves and was like, oh, that's not so bad, that's fine, like, we will accept mediocrity and we will keep running with it. Like, we as human beings are okay to be C students. There are, of course, some people like overachievers. It's like, no, thank you. I would like an A+. And they keep trucking. But shadow work is designed to be uncomfortable in the most impactful way. Like, this is not, it's not like blocks. It's not kindergarten. It's not like, well, I'll build this thing and I'll just like make it work for me. When you start to see yourself in the light that, like, or you start to see familiar things where I intentionally wanted to avoid that. I didn't want to end up like that person. Oh, I can't believe I just reacted in that fashion. That's okay. That's okay. You acknowledging it is the first step.
Mm-hmm.
You recognizing that pattern of behavior is the second step. You making steps towards changing that behavior is the third step. You actually implementing those processes, the fourth. Failing at those first attempts, the fifth. This is a process.
Yeah.
When you see yourself and you don't like it, it hurts. It's uncomfortable, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Don't shut down. Don't take a step back. Don't beat yourself up. The way I explain this to people is called radical acceptance. You just have to love yourself at that moment, and it's going to feel weird and it's going to feel unnatural, because the thing you don't like is not what you want to love yourself for. The thing you don't like is what you want to scrutinize and belittle and like surgically remove with aggression kind of from yourself. And that's not how we do this.
Mm-hmm.
Radical acceptance. Yep. I did that. I acted like that person. I totally messed this up. It is what it is. It is what it is. How do I handle it? How would I want the person that I saw do this handle this situation? Usually it's extreme accountability to whomever, whatever, even if it's to yourself. I'm sorry I did that to me again.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you're doing the work yourself, pick it apart. Why did I do that? Where did that come from? Sometimes it's really easy because I was shown that and I was taught that and I learned to behave that way. What do I want to replace that with?
I just want to piggyback off of that. If you are saying that that's how I was taught and everything like that, that's when we change the script and we change that energetic memory in us and say, now it's time for me to take responsibility for the way that I show up for myself again. Just want to put that out there. Sorry.
100%. Right. If you're acknowledging, like, this is where I learned that, the next step is, now what do I replace it with? What is the healed version of me replace this bad behavior or this learned behavior? Because not all learned behavior is bad, but it's
Mm-hmm.
something you want to change.
Yeah.
But remember, as you start, that this is a process. You are going to do that thing that you don't like 15 more times because you've been doing it. You just weren't aware of it.
Yeah. You didn't get here overnight. And you're not gonna, a lot of people don't understand. They just want like a quick fix, and working on yourself, it takes time. It's a lot of work that goes into healing and doing this work, but it's worth it. I mean, you're worth it. Like doing this work is worth it. Like, absolutely. Like,
absolutely.
It's so much better. You'll be okay.
If anyone doesn't believe that they're worth it, you are wrong. You're wrong. I just want to let you know that you're wrong, because you being here, like, your existence matters. The odds of you existing are so astronomical. And like, once energy is created, it cannot be destroyed. It just continues to morph. So your existence, the fact that you exist, is crucial to the existence of everything else. That's how much you matter. Energy is not created or destroyed. It just keeps transforming. So you absolutely are supposed to be here. You are worthy of being here. Your existence matters to the existence. So if you're having a hard time, I'm deeply sorry. But it too will get better. I promise.
Trust.
What portals are coming up, Nikki? Do you know?
Okay. So we did just go through 4 of them, and then we have 4 more coming up. So we had March 9th, where Mercury entered Aries, and your sign. Crazy. No.
The shoe fits.
No. I love you. But so that's really when I'm just going to run down everything. I'm going to let you know what the portal was and what we could have expected during that time. And then when I hit the next 4, it's what to expect during that time, just to kind of prepare you. So we did have, your camera. Oh, there we go. I was like, what happened? There we go. I see you now. So on March 9th, we had Mercury entering Aries, this was all about relationships. And we were definitely questioning ourselves, like, do we want to stay in our relationship? Do we want to move forward with this person? It was really questioning, like, is this a long-term thing, or what do I want to do in these relationships? Then we had March 10th, where new moon in Pisces came about, and it was definitely more of being sluggish. Even though we were sleeping, there was a lot of interdimensional things going on, a lot of behind the scenes movements. So you might have been sleeping, but you might have been waking up very sluggish and tired, and kind of like, what the heck, I'm extremely tired still. Then on March 11th, we had Venus in Pisces, and that was all about that creative flow. What?
No sound.
Oh, you can't hear me?
Nope.
Oh, interesting. What the heck?
I'm getting really good at reading lips, though.
Interesting. Okay.
I mean, we're good. If you can hear me, then it has to be on my end, because what my phone just did. So if you want to keep going, I'm just going to sit here and then we'll close. Let's do that. Because I don't want to take from your stuff.
Okay. So they said that they can hear us both. Yeah. You guys can still hear both of us. Let us know in the comments if you can hear both of us still. Okay. Interesting. Weird. But, here we go. It's all about that communication, right? Okay, perfect. So March 11th, we had Venus in Pisces, and that was all about that creative flow. So you might have been getting like all this informational downloads about like creative things with like either your business or just work projects, things like that. Then we had March 19th, which was the spring equinox, the sun in Aries. The beginning of the new astrological calendar, where everybody was just in a panic. I don't know if you felt it, but I know I felt it. I know people around me were feeling it, but everyone was just in a panic. Everyone was just in a blur. Everyone was just in a fog, in a funk. And they were really asking those deep questions, like, what is my life purpose? Am I on the right life path? Like, what am I doing? Like, everyone was just having these deep moments. And it was kind of like, it was like someone pushed their hard reset button. And it was just really, they were asking those deeper questions and really just like, okay, I know this is new beginnings, but am I on the right path? And which is this where I'm supposed to be beginning? And then on March 22nd, that's going to be tomorrow. That is when Mars is entering Pisces. And that is where we are going to have to balance work, play, and rest. And I'm struggling with this right now. I'm going to be 100% transparent with everybody. I am struggling with work, play, and rest because my kids are on spring break next week. And I'm like, yeah, I took the whole week off of work and I'm like, I'm not touching my computer. But then because of, the 19th and everything and the creative on the 11th, I have all these things that I want to do for work. And I'm like writing everything down. I'm like, oh my God, I want to do this for work. I want to do this. I want to implement this. I'm like, all these ideas downloaded, all this stuff. And I'm like, but I took the whole week off to play with my kids and go do things with my kids. I really want to spend time with my kids and all this stuff. And it is driving me nuts. But then I had a couple days ago, I just had this like intense migraine. And I'm like, I haven't been pulling cards for myself too much because I've been very busy with work and everything. And so I was like, I'll pull cards for myself. And what do you know? The first card, nurture yourself. And I'm like, okay, got it. And then what's the next card? The hustle and bustle of work. You really need to take a step back. And I'm like, no, you just gave me all these creative downloads and you can't tease me like that. You're going to give me all these downloads, say, do this with your business, do this and this, and then tell me to take a step back. What are you doing? So it was, it's been very hard for me to balance all three of those. But March 22nd, it is really talking about balancing those. So really feel what feels good to you. But I will say, you're going to feel the pull. March is a very, very good time to sow those seeds, planting those seeds. It's really, really good for investing, investing money, not spending money, but investing money and investing in yourself. And this is another thing that's got me going too with my guides, because I'm like, you just gave me all these creative things and I know I need to invest in getting these things set up for my business. And it's good to sow those seeds in March. And then you're going to tell me to rest. So very, very torn. But it is a very good time for sowing those seeds, setting those intentions, and investing in yourself. But I know it's not for me, but investing and prioritizing your time for things that are going to produce income is a very good time during this time, during this energetic portal. So sow those seeds and put those intentions to enhance your finances is going to be a good one. On the 25th, so next Monday, we have the full moon and lunar eclipse. So emotions and energies are going to be enhanced like crazy. Unexpected news. And I will just say, it's not bad news. It's not good news. It's unexpected news. So things happen in cycles, right? Cycles are up and downs. Just remember, everything is about perspective. Think about that spring cleaning that we kind of were talking about, that getting rid of some energy so we can bring in new energy, the new beginnings kind of things. So just know that some unexpected news is going to be coming in, but it's all coming in and kind of happening for a reason. I will just say, have faith and trust the universe during this time. Really take some time to be alone. I know a lot of time, because on the 25th, I know a lot of schools are going on spring break that week, but if you can, I know it's hard, try not to be in crowds. Take time to journal, take a couple minutes for yourself, do some meditations and really connect with yourself. And then March 29th, we have Pallas, the asteroid of wisdom, going retrograde in Sagittarius. So the blast from the past, that's, you might be having dreams and most of this energy, just know that it could happen like 5 days prior to 5 days after. So it's like an energetic window. So you might be having dreams of people from the past, or like if you did somebody wrong or you were like negative talking someone, and then all of a sudden you're like having these weird dreams of them coming up. Or maybe, I mean, this could be positive too. Like all of a sudden this person's giving you gifts and you're like, why are you giving me gifts? And they're like, oh yeah, remember like a long time ago you did this for me. And you're like, oh, okay. A lot of that energy is going to be coming through. It's like a lot of karmic kind of things coming through. So just be aware of that. But key points to focus on this time is self-growth, self-awareness, and self-improvement. So really asking the questions like, how can you improve yourself? Does your ego need a check? Have you been struggling with greed or lack of emotion or disassociation? So really focusing on those things. And then on the 31st, we have Vesta, the asteroid of spirituality, which is entering Cancer. And that's that heightened love and romance and sexual energy. But I will warn you guys about the expectation portion of that. Because when people hear, oh yeah, heightened love, heightened sexuality, heightened this, where you place your focus is where you're going to be placing your energy. So if you're always focused on the bad, guess what's going to be enhanced? That negative energy that you have around that. So really make an intention on where you have that, wherever you're consciously having your awareness, that's the energy that's going to be enhanced. So if you really want to work on your relationship and have a quality relationship, place that energy on that positive aspect of your love life or your sexuality, and that will be enhanced. So just kind of be aware of those energies. Being aware of these energies and what can happen during this time, you can work with the energies and really enhance your life by, if it is the energetic portal of the love and romance, by focusing on more of the positive aspects, you can bring more love and joy into your life, as opposed to focusing on the negative. And then you're just like enhancing the negative. And then you're like, why isn't my relationship working out? Well, because you were just focusing on all that negativity when it was during the enhancement portal of that time. So that's kind of why we're like, having a general knowledge of these energies can really help and change your life. So just working with those energetic portals can kind of help you. So, but that's all that we have really for March. I do know that like April 1st is what Mercury's coming in retrograde, coming up pretty soon. Is that April 1st, I think? I'll have to look at my calendar, but I don't know. Can you hear me still? No, she can't hear me. Okay. But yeah, so she's the whole time I'm talking, I just see you smiling, and I think she can hear me. No, she can't. I love it. So, but that's all that I have today. Sarah, do you have anything?
Do I have anything?
Yes.
No, I don't have anything. Except for the fact that anyone that can read lips, that is a skill. You're awesome. I'm not as good as I thought I was. Take care. I'm not sure what Nikki just touched on, but take care of yourself during this time. The next I think month and a half, things are really going to, no, it's probably about a month. It's not going to be messy, but it's going to be messy if you get my drift. We can prepare for a mess, right? Everybody can prepare for rain. We can prepare for this too. Be kind to yourself, love yourself a little more, be patient with yourself. I can't wait to go back and listen to everything about portals that I just told the universe I really wanted to know. And they were like, oh, by the way, you don't get to listen to any of this. So drink your water and be kind to each other. That's all I got.
Absolutely. All right. Well, since she can't hear anything, we will go ahead and we'll answer questions throughout the day because I have some things coming up and I know that she has to go. We were trying to make this a quick live. So we will go through the comments and answer any questions. So until next time, everybody, we'll say bye.
Bye.
Y'all have a good day.